Greetings. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Wednesday evening with the Clear Mountain Monastery community. Today we are very happy to have the Venerable Ayya Suchita with us. Venerable, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Okay, so I'll just read a quick biography. So Venerable Ayya Suchita grew up in South Korea, studied and traveled in the US, and then came back to South Korea, where she ordained as a monastic in the Korean Mahayana tradition. That was 30 years ago. So entering into monastic life, she attended Dong Haksa Bhikkhuni College in South Korea. And after her initial training, she went and did a 13-year retreat, focusing a lot of focus on the Satipatthana. So after 20 years in monastic life, she visited the UK and met Theravada bhikkhus who encouraged her in her study of Pali and the Theravada tradition, from where she soon went to Myanmar to study there for some time and eventually ended attending Amaravati's Vasa and Winter Retreat of 2017, after which time she came back to California and did a Dalhi kind of strengthening Kamma, basically taking on Theravada ordination with Venerable Ayattatthha as her preceptor. And right now she is in Olympia at Pasadi Vihara. And as of October 15th, so less than a month from now, she'll go back to South Korea and start a Dhammajarini branch in South Korea, which is kind of exciting. So Venerable, thought to maybe just tap into a number of different perspectives that you have. Having ordained in the Mahayana, you've got perspective on Theravada. Having grown up in South Korea, you've got perspective on Western Buddhism. And also having just been born a human, you've also done a lot of practice in the forests and and I know part of your practice was practicing in the mountains. So maybe just starting off with your perspectives from Mahayana coming to Theravada, could you talk at all about your history ordaining in the Mahayana and then coming to Theravada?
Now I can say I prefer the early Buddhist teachings, which emphasize practical and experiential practice over the complexity that often comes with the philosophical depth. But I don't even know what is the Theravada is before I come to the UK. I haven't read any of Theravada scripture. So suddenly I met Theravada bhikkhus. I just getting to know how they chanting, what the book from. So I just very interested in the first meeting of the Theravada Buddhism in UK. So when I sitting and then listening to evening chanting was in Pali, I didn't know what language was, but it gave me so delightful, and it was so interested in to know what it is. So I learned very quickly how to chant, how to read all the Pali language. So in that point, I was thinking about what is the differences between Theravada and Mahayana. The way of practice is a little bit different because Mahayana practice, usually we do the meditation with the Kwan. But I prefer this Theravada Buddhism, the practice with Satipatthana, Anapanasati, and then breathing into awareness in breathing was so easy and very made me so sharp to concentration on one thing. Instead of Kwan is very give me very deep and wide to realize something inside, very difficult to know what is this. But I started from the Mahayana tradition, but later then I tried to do the breathing and then focus on to this. But before I came to UK for 13 years, I just practiced with the in nature And then think about Buddha's teaching. We also, Mahayana tradition, we learned what is the Four Noble Truths, Eightfold Paths, and the dependent origination. We all studied already. But I don't think about the teaching of the Buddha's word. Instead, I just put on my practice, embodiment to daily life. So that's why I was very enjoyed to go to the mountain and then think about only one thinking a day, or focus on this moment was easy to get rid of all the thinking. So day by day, I gained to something very sharp thought. And then I think later then it is just like we call wisdom, gaining wisdom. But I didn't know what wisdom eyes is. But few years later, when I get into deal with the animals and all the nature I met, and then they gave me something special connection, the feeling of connection. So I noticed the nature gave me some special feeling of that. So I learned from animals. They living very simple life. They just seeking the food, and then when they fed, they don't look more, and then that is all they need. They don't have any greedy and then desire for the future or something for our life. So I learned from that. So, I'm also a human being. I'm also a kind of animal. So I try to living like a same as animal does.
Venerable, could you give an example of what the koan practice that you were doing was like? And then I'm also curious if that had any effect when you did actually move up to practicing in the mountains, if all of your koan practice paid off, if there were any kind of knock-on effects from all of the work you did thinking and being with koans, that it helped you live in nature?
Yes. The Kwan, when we meet Zen masters, they look at us and they know what kind of character we are. So they give us some of the very short sentence, like example, who are you? Or where are you from? And then we just thinking simply like normal person, I'm from Seoul or I'm from America, some kind. And that is another point of the question. So Zen masters ask us, what is the source of our coming this world? So we should think about very deeply, sometimes philosophically, very deep. So we started thinking where I'm from, what I am, or how can you live this world as a human being? All kind of question coming up from my heart. And then the Kwan is, we don't have to sit all the time. We can observe the Kwan, whatever we are doing, walking, lying down, sitting, whatever we do, the Kwan never leave my head or my mind. So it does give me 100% awareness in this moment, whatever we are doing.
So Aya, who are you and where are you from?
I don't know. I'm not yet enlightened. And then that question made me very deeply into insight. So can see very sharp, and sometimes I can feel when I see something very clearly, I don't have to think anymore. The time when I saw that, I just know, how can I do next? I don't have to think over. That is the differences of the somebody who practice awareness this moment is very give us intentional awareness, something inside.
There's an interesting convergence, Aya, between kind of this nonverbal, deep knowledge of that's beyond words and just immediately present. That's almost the answer to that koan. And the sutta, which you spoke about as being the one that really grabbed you in the Pali Canon, and that's the Bedekarata Gatayo, the verses on the one excellent night, which basically says, do not dwell on the past or focus on the future, but be attentive to each presently arisen state. And it's a sutta some monastics will know, but I think a lot of lay people don't realize how, it's a series of suttas where the Buddha says it, and then these devas come and say, remember this sutta, and they say it, I think, a few times. It's really singled out. So yeah, would you speak about encountering that discourse and just your sense of this truth of simplicity?
Now I can say I didn't know how to explain in English, but I find out some of them too I can share. Observing this present moment just as it is, and without judgment or reaction, with clear awareness. And through this continuous observation, one realizes the truth of impermanence and suffering and non-self. That is the teaching of the Buddha, but from me, if I say something, I can give some tip, very easy tip, as a practitioner, beginner. So most people ask me that kind of same question when somebody who come to our Vihara or in Korea, wherever I go, so many people can ask that kind of question. So I explain like this. When you see something, like there is a red ball in front of me, that's red. If you see just as it is, that is just only red ball. But human being add something there, judgment and their perspective. Like when I see red, oh, there's red ball. Oh, I don't like red. Or why should be, maybe it's good to white, like this. For all their perspective, they add something to the red ball. So the same, when I walking the street, I meet someone, and I saw that face, I just see and have to pass without any thinking or thought. But first time I couldn't do that. So I was the same. So I thought, oh, he looks like something. Or he is very handsome or very ugly. Or she's so beautiful, or she wearing very nice suit or something. But it doesn't need. We just see, oh, there is someone, or just passing. That's all. So later then when I meet someone, only my heart feel happy, and everyone look very beautiful and so cute. So that when I met our Dhammadharini, old nun, she's very old. But when I saw her, she's so adorable. And I told her, you look very adorable and very cute. She was very surprised. I'm very older than you. I know, but when I saw you, I feel so happy and very cute. But not only her. I really love everybody in Dhammadharini, every nun or Nekama, whatever who coming, I really love them. So I think that is from my practice. Long time ago, I was the same as different people. But when I tamed myself, see only just as it is, without any my comment or without my feeling or add any kind of things, it is just make me practice again. Now I can see directly into one shape. No more any kind of thought.
Venerable, what is the difference as you're training yourself, the difference between a koan practice and sutta practice? So we've mentioned the Bhaddekarata Sutta, which has a number of lines. They're just there, one clearly sees. What is the difference between how you read a sutta and how you might work with a koan?
If we do the koan practice, we need a very good teacher who knows, maybe we can call somebody who had some stage for awakening. So that kind of people can give you the koan at what really you need this time, because they can see your stage of the practice. And nowadays in Korea, not that many Zen masters still alive. And then the koan practice need very, very specifically very deep into that practice. Like someone who we call in Korea, when we start the Zen, we go into the deep mountain temple and then stay there more than 10 years, just sitting front of the wall. So sitting front of the wall, and then constantly you think about the koan, and then someday you realize something from that question. If you are not yet enlightened, there will be a lot of thousands of questions aroused. From first question to next, when you figure it out, first question, next one aroused from naturally from your heart. And then you have something question, and then you just hold the question and thinking over and over. And if you couldn't figure it out, the question, you bring this question to Zen master. So ask Zen master, I did this koan before, and then I think that about before the koan, I have a result of this question. So I have this question arose from my heart. What is this? How can I do with this? And the Zen master gives you another question, ask you, and then he will know or she will know what you are there. Where are you? Your stage is. So he gives another question and then interview. And then he gave some very perfectly engaged with the question with the person who practice. So they can figure it out themselves later then. So that is the koan.
It seems like one of the places you found your teacher when you were in Korea was these early mornings at the mountain, and your koans were these encounters with different animals. I think you talked about an otter and a squirrel, and I found that story quite moving from Saturday, and I wondered if you would say again, like, why did you start going to the mountain in the early mornings, and what was your first moment of kind of friendship with the animals there, or with the otter maybe, or something like that?
Okay. I was alone in one kuti, and my teacher living in next kuti, the different kuti. So I was alone as a bhikkhuni. So I was trying to wake up 3 o'clock at same as big temple. As I usually do in the Donghaksa temple. We all wake up 3 o'clock and then do the chanting 3:30. And then we study and then having a 6 o'clock breakfast. like that. I never wish to break that routine. So I was try to keep the timing. So anyway, I have to get up early. But my teacher recommended me to go to the mountain. So I said, it's too afraid. I'm very scared. And then he said, if you not wanted to do that, you never get close to the practice with the nature, or you never know what is the natural law is. So I couldn't say no, because he's a very wise person. I know he is so special teacher. So I couldn't say no. So I did. I just do it. So when I go to the nature, the nature has revealed to me is that the more honest I am, the more clearly I can see. And then they showed me the simplicity of life and taught me the truth of living in the present moment. Eat six food, and once it's fed, there is no greed or craving beyond that, or simplicity free of excess. Just a life of constant diligence and wholehearted effort. So I learned from them. And sometimes I was feeling like very depressed or overwhelmed from my hard daily life, too much work. And sometimes my mind is so feel overwhelmed. So why I have to do this, all the things? Why don't I go to the mountain and then just sitting there like the other nuns? So that kind of depression give me, should I give up all the things and go somewhere, just learn away from this? And then that kind of very deep depression sometimes coming, not very often, but sometimes they come. So that kind of day, I met animal. I don't even expect. That was the first time it was an otter, and next one was the deer. And I have many story with the animals. They give me very pity and delighted, made me so delighted, and then feel like they encourage me to practice. So if they do that next time, it will longer than before. I can keep my practice longer than before after I met animals. So that is the continually I met many kind of animal.
Can you give us two stories? Can you give us the story of meeting the otter, and then maybe one other story of kind of a friendship with an animal that you had?
Yeah. Someday I get into the forest, and there was like looks like toad.
Tortoise?
Like
A toad.
toad.
Like a frog.
Yeah, but a little bit bigger and brownish.
Yeah.
Yeah, the big toad, very slow, and walking on my come to my feet. And then I was very afraid because I never met that kind of animal touch my feet or my hand. And so I was watching, and then scared, just stop. And then he looked at me up to my face, and then feeling was so happy. So I couldn't move back. And then next time, I think they're the same thought. And then he or she brought her family. There are many of them together sitting and waiting me on the same road. And when I'm come across, they're just coming up to me, little by little, slowly. And when I say something, they react. Yeah.
Would
So
you speak out loud, or is it just talking to them in your heart?
it's like whisper. Wow. Like I'm very happy. I can say. And sometimes they follow me some distance. And then, yeah, also very interesting with also the thought. When I was gardening, and then I using some what is the spade, small spade, and sitting on the garden, and then just I don't know where it's from. Just when I just sit, and then somewhere very quickly the toad come up, and then he, what is? Would you show my hand?
Okay.
Like this.
Aww.
He hold my hand like this, and he do like this. I didn't understand what he said. I was very foolish at that time. So I asked him, what do you want? He just doing like this. So I really wanted to help you, but I'm very sorry, I don't understand what you need. So do you want water? And then I brought water to him. He liked the same water, like doesn't want. So I brought something warm from the earth. I take some alive, something living beings. I couldn't kill, but I can give them. So I bring one small one, and then he do same. I don't want to eat. So I asked my teacher. He came to see, and then he said, don't work anymore today. Just go in. So he knew what they want, but he doesn't say anything at all to me. He want me to know. He want me to realize what they say. So after dark, I went out at the point which they were sitting. He was still there. So I said, if you stay here at night, the cat's coming to eat you. Please go away. He doesn't move. And then in the morning, he came again on the same seat, the point. Then later, 3 days later, he disappeared. And then I noticed there was work with a small pebble. I made a very nice load to the garage. That I make that load, change it from the first place. I think there is their house inside. When I noticed that what they need, I was crying a lot because I was very foolish. So I couldn't understand what they need. So after that, my insight is more deeper and deeper to think about others first than my perspective.
That's a beautiful story. And what lessons would you have people take from stories like that? Is it just to understand, compassion towards beings that aren't human? Is it something about having a simple heart, and that's what will let animals actually feel like they can come up to you? What's the Dharmic lessons that's hidden in your moments that you had with nature over all those years?
I didn't intentionally do the metta practice, or I have to do, or I need to. I never do that. I just simply, I'm living my life. without any thinking. That's what I did. And then, what is, okay, I found something. I would like to share this, my practice. I was only when we are honest with ourselves, can we truly observe things as they are. If we say something very honest to others, it's a little bit easier than say it to myself, truly. So, okay, I will read this one. Only when we are honest with ourselves can we truly observe things as they are. The first practice I undertook to truly know myself was being honest with myself. Being honest with others can sometimes be easier, or I could simply remain silent. But being honest with myself brought many moments of disappointment with myself. I was surprised to find how many excuses and justifications I had. Things that once seemed reasonable turned out, upon closer reflection, to be nothing more than excuses. I was refining myself again and again. What did I say to me wrong, or little bit of excuses, or it is not clearly truly said to me? That was my practice with the 7 years. And also eating, sleeping, reduce sleeping, eating, or think of the desire. So I have only 3 side dish. Whatever I have, it doesn't matter. If there is something, 3 things, I just eat. I don't go and buy something other things. And sleeping, also I just go to bed 9 o'clock and wake up 3 o'clock. That is my routine for 13 years. Also, I never skipped the morning climbing mountain for 13 years. If there is someday we have in Korea, we have winter time, a lot of snow sometimes. At the time, like 70 centimeters, something, I went mountain. Or summertime, rainy season, it's like something, yeah, pour the water from bucket. But I went. That kind of consistency needed for practice. If you really wanted to have a sharp eyes or wise wisdom eyes, we should continuously practice with ourselves. That I wanted to recommend to do that for the beginners.
Yeah, thank you, Aya. And people can put questions in the chat. I think your advice about how looking and examining the excuses one tells oneself and pushing past one's comfort zones as being fruitful areas of insight about oneself and about the world, pushing oneself to do these harder practices, eating less than one would like or less variety, sleeping maybe less than one would like, pushing oneself out into nature, really get to see your own stuff, basically. I think one other way that it seems like you've pushed yourself is just coming to the West. You grew up in South Korea, and I'm curious, what made you come to the West, and what insights maybe you've had either about the West or about yourself in terms of encountering Buddhism as we practice it in the different ways that we do here?
I came to, as I said that day, Saturday talking, I really like English. So I was trying to study English more. And at that time, I didn't have any chance to go abroad. And then I was decided to helping another monk and nuns. So there was the chance to go to the Hungary. There is a Korean traditional temple. The Hungarian monk built in there. So I was helping them for 1 year and a half, and then I was thinking, my English is not enough to teaching or listening. Even listening is not enough. I do not satisfied with myself. So I decided to go to the UK, very close to the Hungary. Easy to go to the UK than America at the time. So I decided to go there and then study English more. And then I went there. First day, I went to the Wadham's Women College in the UK, Oxford. And then I didn't have any other choice at the time because I didn't have that much money. I don't know anybody in the UK. So I decided Wadham College for study English language school. So, and then that day from the airport, they drew my small bag. So it's broken, totally broken. So I should buy some small bag in the Oxford. So I went out to the Oxford and then I went to the department and I bought small bag. And on the way back, I lost. So I was just standing the crossway. So look at the map. And then someone called me in Korean, 스님, like monk, 스님. Who called me in Korea? So I saw them. She was bicycling and then come across to me, and she is Oxford College PhD course. She's Korean, and she asked me, "You lost?" Yes, I know. This old building is the same. Looks like old the blocks and then old. I couldn't find the way. She said, yeah, I will take you there. So we went to the Bottoms College both together. And then she asked me, yeah, this is very, very expensive. So I know, but I don't know anyone here. And I don't have much money to get the apartment. So she said, what about I know some place every once a week, she went there in meditation together. But it is not a theravada, Thai temple. It is a Burmese temple. So if they accept me, it's very good. Why not? I'm very happy. And she just called them, and then they said, they explain how their situation. They have two buildings like this. If you're allowed to stay, it's okay. You can stay the visitor building. So I said yes. So I went there and interviewed with the monk, the head monk, and then they said, if you comfortable, you can stay until your visa ended. So I was there for 6 months. And then finally, I just love it, the Theravada Buddhism, and then they recommended me to go to the Burma. So that was my starting point of the travel to looking for the Theravada, became a Theravada Bhikkhuni. And that's the start point from the UK. When I came back to UK, he recommended me to go to Dhammaravati because they have some nuns, Shiladhara. They are not bhikkhuni, but almost they have 120 precepts they kept.
I don't.
125 or something. They the middle with the novice and the bhikkhunis. So he just recommended me to go there and then just experiment with them. What is the Theravada Buddhism is? So that was my first place.
We know that speaking about going to Burma, and you would have had exposure to all these other meditations, the Pa-Auk system, and he's spoken about the Koan practice and the Anapanasati. And just to kind of merge that narrative with one of the questions in the chat, Aya, Metakruna is asking, what experiential meditation practices do you recommend? And I suspect that might be related to the ones you just spoke about, but how would you answer that question?
Yeah, I did many things, but for me, I'm very comfortable with the Satipatthana because as a healer or as a meditationer, I wanted to see clearly within very sharp eyes and wisdom. So I always concentrate on this moment and watching myself, what I did or what do I do, or did I make any mistakes in this moment, or did I away from this moment. I always checking myself. And then finally, I noticed this is the wisdom and knowledge are clearly different. I was deeply committed to gaining wisdom, and I came to realize that attaining wisdom is not easy. A smart person may have no difficulty acquiring knowledge and may possess deep understanding, but wisdom brings a different kind of insight, or more refined, penetrating clarity. In my aspiration to cultivate such insight through the attainment of wisdom, I disciplined myself and strove to keep my practice unwavering.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my practice. So if someone who are comfortable with this kind of satipatthana, I recommend this. This is much easier to watch yourself, your mind. Can keep watch your mind and feel from your body, and you can catch many things from here. So later then, if you find out different way of practice, like anapanasati, whatever, you can feel your belly or something, everything is good if you're comfortable with that. But for me, I naturally counted in this satipatthana. I never intended. I just do my own practice and get into this satipatthana, and then there is all I need, something in there. And then it brought me go to the eightfold part. It was interconnected. And I would find out that my suffering bring another things like dependent origination. And then I find out from the canon, Buddha already told about teaching, about that kind of teaching. So that is the core teaching of Buddha.
Satipatthana.
Four Noble Truths, Eightfold Path, and dependent origination is the core practice which Buddha teaching.
I had the next question, because that's not always kind of highlighted in Mahayana Buddhism in some schools. But this next question, how do you think karma has influenced your path? Did you have any intuition about some of the bigger shifts in moments? Just thinking about how, as you mentioned to me, I asked you on Saturday, how many other theravada South Korean nuns are there? And you said, maybe there's one, but you're somewhat unique. What is your karma, you think? Or do you even think in these bigger terms of why you are interested in English, why you're interested in Theravada, why you moved to Hungary and then to England, then to Burma, and then back to England, then to America?
Why?
Why?
I follow the natural course. I never intended to go anywhere. I just naturally following. If there is something connected with, they invite me, I just go. But one thing I really aspire to be a Theravada nun. That's only I need. I don't intend to come to America. I don't intend to go to Australia. It just suddenly there is some happening and meet someone. They supporting me. They recommend me. I just go without any what is any doubt. Just some teacher recommend me. Oh, I will do it. Just I go. Also, they helping me a lot, and then they support me for buying the flying ticket, and then introduce someone very nice teacher in there. And everywhere I go, there is someone who really supported me very well.
And would you call those intuitional choices? Like, I know intuition, I asked Bhikkhu Bodhi how he would translate the word intuition in Pali, and he couldn't really think of a good Pali word for it. But when I think of, or the very limited extent that I've done any kind of koan practice or Zen, it very is much, in my experience, a intuitional practice. Is intuition, how do you relate to that phenomena?
Intuition, I have experience if I say that it's intuition, but sometimes I can feel it. If I go there, something my mind make uncomfortable. But usually when I wanted to do, or there is something unfolded, not that kind of many experience of bad thinking coming or just stop me, don't go like this. The feeling is coming. It's not like some fortune teller like, but feel like nature lead me the way. I don't say it's karma. Karma is a little bit different, but I'm using the karma word like this. When I had a very unhappy situation, or I have some accident, if I have accident, and then people getting really sad or suffer from that accident, I recommend them to think, it was my karma. Maybe I made some wrongdoing before. That made people very comfortable. Because everybody make mistake. I made many mistakes. So just think, I made someday bad karma. So it will come like this way. So I should reflect myself. And next time, I'm not going to make any mistake anymore. That is the practice. Not only sitting and think about the satipatthana, the daily life gives you the chance to practice with this.
I have one final question. To draw together these different threads, you spoke about, you use karma to reference past fruits of action, but you speak about also kind of aligning yourself with natural law. And you've spoken about that with nature too, and seeing, when you're honest with yourself, you see clearly. What is natural law? And would you translate that as Dhamma?
In Korean Buddhism, we said everything in the world is Dhamma. Yeah, because of the nature itself is Dhamma. Buddha always wished to teaching others the nature, all the teachings from, I think that is the Buddha's word, but it is based on the nature. That's what I felt. So we say in Mahayana, everything is Dhamma.
Thank you so much, Aya. It's just, for those who don't know, Aya was just at our Saturday gathering, and just meeting you, Aya, there's this sort of clarity and cleanliness to your heart that just shines through, and it was really a pleasure to meet you and to get to actually speak with you now. So just encouraging people, if you're on the YouTube right now, we've just pasted a link to the Zoom, which will continue to speak with Aya for another 45 minutes if you want over there. But otherwise, we just wish you all the best, Aya, and come back and visit us soon. And good luck with the Hermitage. And I will try to meet some animals sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I wish to.
And we will also put a link, I think, if anyone wants to know how they can support the new Dhammajarini South Korea project that you're doing. So we'll put those in the show notes.
I just say that if someone, because I don't have any link now, or also now Jason Bartlett care about my old things now for the Korean project. So maybe whatever you wishes and ask any questions to, it's good to ask Jason Bartlett.
We'll post a link then to either Jason's contact or his website where people can send an inquiry about your project.
Luminous Dharma?
Yes.
Yes, right.
Yes.
Okay.
Aya,
Yeah, thank you very much for inviting me and share a good story with you.
thank you for your practice and your just your example. It's very rare to meet a bhikkhuni of 30 years, and yeah, we're grateful for you showing that path to others.
Thank you.